I never thought I'd hear my wife wish me out of existence. It was late, close to midnight, and I was supposed to be asleep upstairs. But instead, I sat on the bottom step of the staircase, hidden in the shadows, listening to voices drifting from the kitchen. My wife, Claire, and someone else. Her voice cut through me like broken glass. His presence irritates me. I wish he would just disappear forever. The words weren't shouted, they weren't said in anger. They were whispered with a bitterness so steady it felt rehearsed. Froze. Every bone in my body wanted to rush into the kitchen and demand answers, but I didn't. I stayed perfectly still, my heart pounding so loudly I was sure they'd hear it. The man with her chuckled softly. You've been carrying him long enough. Maybe it's time you let go. Let go. Disappear forever. Her presence irritated. I was her husband, the man who built our life, brick by brick, sacrifice after sacrifice. And she was speaking as if I was a nuisance she couldn't wait to erase. The slow burn of betrayal. In the morning, Claire acted normal. She kissed my cheek, poured me coffee, and asked about my day. But her touch felt like a stranger's. My skin recoiled at the thought of last night's words. I didn't say anything. Not yet. Instead, I started watching. The late-night yoga classes that stretched past midnight. The sudden password change on her phone. The quiet smiles she gave when she thought no one was looking. I started piecing it together slowly, carefully. Then one night, when she slipped into the shower, I opened her laptop. No password. Not yet. And there it was. Emails. Messages. Photos. His name was Derek. He wasn't just a friend or a coworker. He was the one she called when I fell asleep. The one she texted when I thought she was folding laundry. The one she whispered to in the kitchen when she wished me gone. Her words haunted me. I wish he would just disappear forever. The disappearance. I didn't confront her right away. Rage is easy, but patience is sharper. Instead, I started planning. I packed a bag. Not much, just essentials. I moved some money quietly into a private account. And then I began writing. Every night, after she drifted off beside me, I slipped downstairs and wrote letters. Not just one. Dozens. To her. To our children. To her family. To my lawyer. Letters full of truth. Evidence. The betrayal she thought she could bury. When everything was ready, I disappeared. No note. No trace. No warning. To Claire, it must have seemed like her wish had been granted. One morning she woke up and I was simply gone. What he left behind. The first letter arrived 3 days later. It was delivered to our home in a plain envelope. She opened it at the kitchen table, probably expecting a bill or some junk mail. Instead, she found my handwriting. Inside, I told her I knew. About Derek. About the nights, the lies, the whispers. I told her I had seen it all, read it all. I told her she had spoken the words I could never erase. His presence irritates me. I wish he'd disappear forever. And I told her I was gone. But that wasn't all. Over the next few days, more letters arrived. One went to her mother. Another to her sister. Copies of emails, screenshots of texts, photos she thought were private. The truth spilled across every page. I didn't scream. I didn't fight. I let her own words and her own actions scream louder than I ever could. Neighbors began to look at her differently. Friends stopped calling. Derek stopped showing up once the weight of exposure grew too heavy. And then came the letter she couldn't handle. The one I left hidden in my desk drawer, waiting for her to find. It wasn't filled with anger. It wasn't filled with evidence. It was filled with silence. A single line scrawled across the page. You got your wish. She found it weeks later, searching desperately for clues, for explanations, for anything that would undo what she had set in motion. And when she read it, she screamed. Echo of loss. I didn't vanish from the world completely. I checked in on my kids quietly from a distance, arranged visits through lawyers. I built a new life slowly out of the ashes of the old one. But Claire, she lived in the wreckage. Her wish had been granted, but not in the way she imagined. She didn't get the freedom of a fresh romance, or the easy shedding of a husband she no longer valued. She got absence, silence, the permanent echo of the man she cast aside. She called me over and over, at first with anger, then with tears, then with begging. Please come home. We can fix this. I didn't mean it. But she had meant it. I had heard it in her voice that night, the clarity of someone speaking their truth. And some truths cannot be undone. The final confrontation. Months later, we finally sat across from each other at a mediation table. Divorce proceedings. Her hair was thinner, her face drawn. She looked like a woman haunted. You wanted me gone, I said quietly, my hands folded in front of me. You got what you wanted. Her eyes filled with tears. I didn't mean it like that. I was angry, I was confused. I was stupid. I leaned forward, meeting her eyes. No, you were honest. For the first time, you were honest. The silence between us was heavier than any shouting match we could have had. She trembled, her hands gripping the edge of the table, as if trying to anchor herself to a reality that was slipping away. I signed the papers. She watched, her body shaking as I stood up. When I walked out of that room, I didn't look back. What remains? Sometimes late at night, I still hear her voice in my head. His presence irritates me. I wish he'd disappear forever. And sometimes I wonder, if she had never said those words, would I still be there? Would I still be blind, clinging to a life built on lies? But then I remind myself, her words freed me. Her wish became my beginning. And her scream, when she realized what she had lost, was the sound of truth catching up with her.